Imagine this. 9 experienced hikers venture into the frozen heart of the Soviet wilderness, only to flee their tent in terror, barefoot, in sub-zero temperatures, and meet a gruesome end. What force could drive them to cut their way out from inside, leaving everything behind? Was it an avalanche, a secret military test, or something far more sinister lurking in the shadows of the Mountain of the Dead? Welcome to Dark True Stories, where real-life horror, unsolved mysteries, and chilling true crime come alive. From haunted places to unsolved disappearances and shocking crimes, we bring you spine-tingling stories based on true events. If you're hooked on the darkest truths behind the unknown, hit that subscribe button now and turn on notifications for weekly videos that will keep you up at night. Let's dive into one of the creepiest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century, the Dyatlov Pass incident. As a seasoned journalist and storyteller who's delved into countless true crime tales, I've always been fascinated by cases where the evidence screams horror, but the truth hides in the shadows. This story begins in early 1959, deep in the icy grip of the Soviet Union. A group of 10 young adventurers, 8 men and 2 women, all seasoned skiers and hikers from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, set out on what should have been an exhilarating expedition across the northern Ural Mountains. Led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, a radio engineering student with a passion for the wild, they were no novices. These were Grade II hikers aiming for the prestigious Grade III certification, meaning they'd traverse over 300 kilometers in brutal winter conditions. Picture them, energetic, experienced, armed with skis, tents, and unyielding spirit. They boarded a train on January 23, heading toward the remote taiga of Siberia. Their diaries captured the excitement. One entry read, "I wonder what awaits us on this hike. Will anything new happen?" Oh, if only they knew. Over the next days, they switched transports, bus, truck, horse-drawn sleigh, and finally skis, pushing deeper into the unforgiving landscape. But on January 28, one member, Yuri Yudin, fell ill with joint pain and turned back. Photos show him waving goodbye to his friends, unaware it would be the last time he'd see them alive. The remaining 9 pressed on, documenting everything with journals and cameras. Their entries painted a picture of routine adventure, heavy snow, biting cold, but no major issues. They were heading toward Mount Otorten, but fate and weather had other plans. By February 1, they reached the base of a mountain the local Mansi people called Kalet Siyakl, or Dead Mountain, a name that now sends chills down the spine. Exhausted but determined, they climbed most of the day and pitched their tent just a few hundred meters from the summit, on an exposed slope. Why there? Some say Igor wanted to practice high-altitude camping or avoid losing elevation. Their last diary entry. It's hard to imagine such comfort on the ridge, with the howling wind, hundreds of kilometers from human settlements. Comfort that night would be anything but. Weeks passed with no word. Friends and family grew worried, no telegram from Vijay as promised. After debates, a volunteer search party set out on February 20, soon joined by military helicopters. On February 26, they found the tent, but what they saw was straight out of a horror story. The shelter was half buried in snow, slashed open from the inside with a knife. Inside, all their gear, food, clothes, boots neatly arranged as if they'd planned to return. No signs of struggle, but 9 sets of footprints led downhill toward a nearby forest. These weren't frantic runs. They were calm, orderly steps, some barefoot or in socks, in -30°C temperatures. Following the tracks for half a kilometer before snow covered them, searchers reached a large cedar tree at the forest edge. There, beside remnants of a hasty campfire, lay the frozen bodies of Yuri Doroshenko and Yuri Krivonishenko. Underdressed in just shirts, underwear, and socks, no coats, no boots. The tree's branches were broken up to 5 meters high, as if someone had climbed for a view, or to escape something. Ask yourself, what could make experienced hikers abandon safety like this? Hold that thought, the mysteries are just unfolding. It took over 2 months to recover all 9 bodies, each revealing more horrors. 3 more were found between the tent and the tree. Igor Dyatlov, Zinaida Kolmogorova, and Rustam Slobodin, partially dressed, faces turned toward the tent as if desperately crawling back. All died of hypothermia with minor injuries. Notably, 4 showed signs of alcohol, perhaps to fight the cold. The last 4, Lyudmila Dubinina, Semyon Zolotaryov, Alexander Kolvatov, and Nikolai Thiboksbrignoles, were discovered in May, buried under 3 meters of snow in a ravine 75 meters from the tree, away from the tent. These were the most gruesome. 3 had massive injuries, cracked skull, multiple broken ribs, massive internal bleeding, like a car crash. Yet no external wounds, as if crushed by immense force while alive. 2 had empty eye sockets, 1 missing a tongue, another eyebrows and facial tissue. And the creepiest detail, 3 items of clothing tested positive for unusual radiation. The official investigation closed on May 28 with a vague conclusion: death caused by an unknown compelling force the hikers were unable to overcome. No satisfying answers, just questions. Why cut the tent from inside? Why flee undressed? What caused those brutal injuries? And the radiation, military cover-up, paranormal activity. This true crime enigma has haunted investigators for decades. Over the years, this unsolved mystery has spawned wild theories, paranormal entities, Yeti attacks, even alien involvement. But as a journalist who's pored over autopsy reports and Russian translations, let's debunk the creepiest details logically, without losing the chill. First, Lyudmila Dubinina's missing tongue. Sensationalists claim it was cut out while alive, fueling horror stories. But the medical report simply states, the diaphragm of the mouth and tongue are missing. No mention of cutting or tearing. The examiner explained it as post-mortem decay, rotting from exposure to melting snow and water in the creek where her body lay for months. Same for the missing eyes and eyebrows. Natural decomposition, not some haunted ritual. And the blood in her stomach. Not 100 grams of pure blood, but a mucus mass mixed with dark red, likely from internal bleeding due to her chest trauma. Then the radiation on 3 clothing items. Sounds like a nuclear cover-up, right? But levels were only slightly above normal, 5,000 to 9,900 disintegrations per minute on 150 cm2, compared to a safe limit of 5,000. The report suggested atmospheric dust or prior contamination. Remember, 2 victims, Kolvatov and Krivonishenko, had worked at nuclear facilities. No widespread radiation on all bodies, so not a bomb test. What about UFOs? Witnesses reported orange orbs in the sky around that time, soldiers, other hikers, even Mansi locals. The hiker's last photo shows a blurry light at midnight. Could it be aliens? Or more logically, rockets, meteorites, or space debris during the Cold War space race? No crash site, no extra footprints. It's a red herring, as intriguing as it is. These details add to the creepy story, but they don't hold up under scrutiny. So, if not paranormal, what really happened on that frozen night? After months of research, hearing Russian translators, sifting through KGB conspiracy theories to simple avalanches, I've pieced together what I believe is the most logical explanation for this real-life horror. It starts inside the tent. Why flee? The only thing that could force them out so desperately must have been an immediate threat from within, not an external monster or avalanche. No signs of panic in the footprints. They walked calmly downhill. Enter the stove. Igor had custom-built a unique wood-burning stove with a chimney pipe exiting the tent. We know they used it that night. Partially eaten fried ham and bacon were found inside. Here's the theory. After dinner, they dismantled the stove and removed the pipe. But embers reignited, filling the tent with thick smoke in seconds. Panicking in the choking haze, they cut holes in the roof to vent, then slashed the side to escape. Evidence. Some bodies had burns on skin and clothes, possibly from the hot stove or the forest fire. Blood around mouths. Smoke inhalation symptoms. Outside in -30°C, a blizzard raging, half-dressed at midnight, they realized the nightmare. Smoke might have made returning impossible, or they thought the tent was on fire. Some were drunk, clouding judgment. They headed to the nearest shelter, the forest, a kilometer away. At the cedar, they built a fire. Some climbed for branches or visibility, others scavenged. 4 ventured deeper, triggering a small snow slab avalanche over a ravine edge, a 3-meter drop onto rocks and ice, causing the fatal traumas. The others split. 3 tried returning to the tent but froze en route. 2 stayed by the dying fire, succumbing to hypothermia. It's tragic, not supernatural. Their expertise, fearing avalanches, led them to overreact. A 2020 Russian reinvestigation and 2021 Swiss study support the avalanche angle, but combined with smoke, it fits perfectly. No ghosts, just nature's cruel hand. This chilling true story reminds us how fragile we are against the unknown. The Dyatlov Pass remains a haunted enigma, but perhaps the darkest truths are the simplest. What do you think? Avalanche, smoke, or something more paranormal? Drop your theories in the comments below. If this spine-tingling tale gripped you, like, share, and subscribe to Dark True Stories for more unsolved mysteries and real horror every week. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay safe, and remember, the wilderness doesn't forgive mistakes. See you in the shadows.